Hi there, I'm Mikey. And I'm Johnny. And welcome to this adventure where we take a cruise for the very first time. We are taking a cruise in the Caribbean and we're stopping in the Dominican Republic. We just landed in Puerto Plata and we're going to go explore around the area. We're not going to stay here for very long. The ship is going to take off later on this afternoon, but we're still excited to check out a new place. And so far the cruise has been great. It's the first time in a different country other than Mexico, so we're pretty excited to see what this country has to offer, you know, for the small amount of time we're here. So come join us on this adventure, because there's always more to do. There's a group of friends that we went to the cruise with. We're missing a few people, but they were going to join us a little bit later on. This boat was massive. It was a lot bigger than I expected it, to be honest. However, we didn't actually get access to the entire ship, as we'll explore later on, but it was still a massive boat. Boarding procedures are like getting into an airplane if you've ever done that. But it was actually quite a smooth transition. Just so you know, I'm recording you recording. Inception. Watch out,
Come on, double trouble right here.
We get called that often. The entire staff was extremely friendly. The boat was very nice. They had a lot of areas for you to hang out in, but the decor was really nice. There was also shops available for people to purchase things. However, on this first hour or so, they were closed. They didn't open until much later. Not to mention, it's all expensive things. I was quite surprised by some of the price tags. This is our first snack that we had in the place called the Social Club, where they had board games and other things going on throughout the cruise. Small arcade. The arcade was fun. But this pizza place was delicious. And the pizza we had, I think, pretty much every day. The art display used recycled plastic. When we got on the boat, we had some time before the boat took off into the sea. We took a tour of the available areas for us. As well as our cabin. The cabin was actually quite comfortable. Both Mikey and I had plenty of room for ourselves. Closet space, restroom space, and boy, that shower head was amazing. Waterfall effect, quite lovely. The galley was also awesome. We did eat quite a few meals here, and we can say that every meal was delicious. They had a lot of dishes to offer in the galley. Different assortment of foods. On this particular night, they were going to have Asian market night. And even though it's weird that we're recording this restroom, it was actually the best view, one of the best views that we had on the cruise. So we came to this restroom often. It was our favorite restroom, actually. And the lifeboats are huge. They can fit up to 300 people, we were told. Fortunately, we didn't have to find out. Lots of cool little areas on the deck to hang out. Gotta do the seesaw. It was so much fun. Photo up. We all wore funny shirts for the first day. This was a couple of us taking some pictures with them. We continued the tour to where everybody was hanging out before we set out, the pool area. The view of Miami was also quite nice. This is where the boat started moving. We haven't been on very many boats, so this whole process was fascinating to us.
Especially this big U-turn it had to take to get out of the harbor here.
We were escorted by little boats that would follow us along. And along the way, we saw more little boats. A lot of little boats.
It never really comes to mind how much water activities there are available since we don't really live near so much water.
Even the ferry was interesting to me. And that's just a mode of transportation for cars. Here we are finally leaving the port of Miami.
We're not very good with water. We've gotten seasick in the past, but fortunately it wasn't really a problem.
We were prepared with medicine and even some special glasses and thankfully didn't need them.
Dinner our first night was pretty amazing. This is kind of the aftermath of what it was Italian and it was a 3-course meal. It was so filling.
In this show, Diva Around the World was awesome. We loved the Diva. She performed several times throughout the cruise.
One of our favorite entertainers actually during the week we were there.
It was quite dark out there. And the first night was a pajama party. That sign was quite bright, in a good way.
This morning at sea, activities were scheduled through the app and it was quite convenient to be able to get maps to and from locations. But we gotta keep the workout going.
We just finished doing a HIIT workout. One of the many things that they offer here on the cruise. It was fun, but man, it kicked our butts. We're not used to doing HIIT workouts. It's been quite a while since we've done a HIIT workout, so. But at least coming out here, feeling the breeze is very, very nice. And during the exercise, all you could think about was finishing, but we did. So we're happy we did that. The staff was very helpful and very motivating to us, so it's nice. Looking forward to doing some more activities here on the ship and see what it offers.
Breakfast was also delicious.
Breakfast by the water.
After showering, we tried the casino for a little bit while we were waiting for our friends for our next activity.
Our karaoke.
You can.
Oh, when you're walking.
The combination of how fast the boat is going plus the wind in the ocean, quite fascinating.
And you can't see anything for miles. Except for this bird.
It's flying faster than us.
A couple of the passageways.
This area was kind of hidden, so it was kind of fun to find it. And all it was at the front of the boat.
There's the Diva again doing another little game show.
And then we headed back to the arcade.
Ninja Turtles, all right.
And we got to try this place out. This was a Korean barbecue.
It was very communal. All the seating was meant for about 6 people or so.
The atmosphere was awesome. Here the waiters are guiding the table through a game. And the food was delicious. This is just the appetizers. Our waitress would cook the meal in front of us, and everything came out so good.
At the same night that we had Gambé, they also had the Asian night market. So we didn't get to try too many things this time around, but we did try it another night. However, we didn't know that they were going to change the menu from some of these places.
Either way, the food looked delicious. Even though we had just eaten, all of this looked tasty.
We love the decor and we love the smells coming from all these places. There was about 9 or 10 eateries in the galley, plus specialty coffee and desserts.
They also had some games that were laid out so that you could play with your friends. This was an area of the ship we didn't walk through very much, but we did use this area to get outside, where they were playing bugs through the speakers. It was meant to be to set the environment, the atmosphere for this stargazing night.
Although it was cloudy, so it was very hard to see any stars. But the wake behind us was pretty nice and relaxing.
And the boat looked very pretty at night.
Very peaceful.
Afterwards, we headed inside to play a board game with our friends. We introduced the game to them. It took a little while to learn, but once we did, we had a lot of fun. And of course, more pizza.
Here we are landing in Puerto Plata, in the Dominican Republic.
This is our first time arriving at another country, so this was exciting, and the landscape was gorgeous. It looked almost like Jurassic Park to me.
I had the same feeling, especially with the mountain background.
We had to wait a while before we could get off the ship.
So we took the opportunity to have some breakfast and explore a little more. Here's a restaurant we never got to go into, in Kugave. But this was our hangout spot here. We met quite often with our group so we can disembark or meet up for other activities.
Taino Bay is an area right off the ship that people can come shop and hang out. We decided to go a little bit further, so here we are just walking through where you can see a lot.
A lot of the items here were American products, but they did have some local cuisines and some local products available, including some art. And chocolate. I like this shot. And here's a group photo in front of the ship. Gotta do it for the memories. We were surprised by the amount of motorcycles and mopeds. Seems like the main mode of transportation.
When we were walking around, it felt very similar to the streets of Mexico in a town nearby where we live.
We decided to walk to the nearby fort. The sidewalks were pretty narrow, so I don't think it was really meant for lots of traffic.
But this wall mural was pretty to walk along and see as we walked on this narrow sidewalk, which once or twice we had to step onto the street.
But getting to the fort was worth it.
This view was gorgeous, and the wind felt nice.
We had to pass through a park to get to it though.
And all the trees here, the vegetation is very gorgeous. It's different than what we have where we live.
So green.
This park reminded me of some that we used to play at. They also had an amphitheater where people could come and see concerts, which apparently used to happen all the time.
A little less sandy beaches in this area, but makes sense. And here's the fort. We weren't able to go inside, but we were able to go around it.
Reminds me of the ones you can see in San Antonio. The wind was pretty strong here.
Yeah, we need more on this side.
Here's a view from the amphitheater from the top.
The entire fort and the surrounding area had a bunch of these cannons around. One of the original buildings and the walls.
We also came to explore this area, which had a tower that was gated off, but it also had a pretty old building. We saw 3 grown men riding a single bike. How do they balance?
That sign was a tale of the founding of the youth, believed to be in one of the islands surrounding this area. We made it back to the ship with plenty of time. We've heard too many horror stories of people being left behind, so we didn't want to risk it. So we're about 3 hours early.
But we were fascinated by the loading and unloading of this vessel next to us. We think it was grain.
Next time we're in this area, we'd probably explore some of the expeditions available. For now, playing it safe.
I enjoyed our experience, even if we didn't do any excursions. But you're right, next time, it would be nice to do some.
After all, there's more to do.
Here we are setting sail, and as we are setting sail, we notice that there's a lot more people at the fort that we were just at. It does seem to get busier when the sun goes down.
Here's some decorations that they started putting out for Scarlet Night, a themed party night that Virgin has. Everything is red and they encourage you to wear red.
If you forgot red, they had plenty you could buy to fit the occasion. But we went to this restaurant called The Wake. Yeah, fancy people. Not only were the fancy people there, the portions were huge.
This thing is huge. Okay, for size comparison, next to a human. That's huge. Thank you. It's the biggest filet mignon I've seen.
I felt this bowl was a little much, but this dip was pretty good. It's a queso soup or some kind. Some of the desserts, all very tasty. And here's a party of Scarlet Night on the pool deck.
It was fun.
The party continued afterwards indoors at one of the bars and clubs that they have inside the ship.
Woo, that was a fun night. Yeah, it lasted pretty long. There was some good moments in there, and there was a disappointing part. The second venue was unfortunately not as good as the first DJ, so the energy level went down a little bit.
But then we ended up playing some Jenga with some friends, so ended up working out, still had a fun night. But overall, nice.
Lots of laughs, lots of good times, and slept pretty late. It was almost like 3 in the morning.
Yeah. So we're getting some brunch right now, get a day going, see what we can do, because we're out at sea. So we'll see what happens today. It's incredible what you find out about people in late night storytelling. In any case, breakfast was really nice. We tried this nice, great sandwich place.
Wait, and go. This chorizo burrito tastes just like one that I had growing up in Mexico when we go to some restaurant that's no longer around. Ever since then, I've always wanted choriqueso that tasted like this. So it's impressive that it's in a burrito. Delicious.
Later on, they had other activities. We didn't participate in this one, but this was a speed puzzle assembly game.
This is the team that won and actually did it in about 32 minutes or something like that. It was quite fascinating to see. And here was Asian market night again. This time around, we were able to try a lot of the cuisine. Quite delicious.
They had so many options, we were able to try a lot of them. I can't say that I tried them all, but I made my effort. My favorite was definitely the noodles.
Can't go wrong with some spring rolls too. And this game was simple but yet fun to play.
We were there for a long time. Even got my hair braided by my friend while we played. And then we played at the casino and got a little bit lucky.
And we also met some other twins. Kept bumping into one of them actually on the entire cruise and only met the other twin on the last night.
They were fraternal though. We were the only identical ones that we knew of. The Diva put on another show, followed by our favorite DJ, DJ Leanne de Leon. We'll leave her links in the description.
She definitely kept the party going. She brought up the energy just at the right time for this venue.
And of course, pizza at the end of the night.
The Bahamas. Bimini in the Bahamas.
Here we're landing in Port Bimini.
It was a little bit hazy out at sea, but we had beautiful weather. Still had to make sure we put on sunscreen.
The drive through the little island was pretty cool.
Everybody uses golf carts. There were so many golf carts all over the place.
When they talk about white sandy beaches, this is what they mean. Quite surprising how white they really were. So we made our way down to the water. as the pools are very nice. They were playing some beach volleyball and some water polo or whatever it was.
They also had aerobics later on. It looked like a fun thing to do, but we were there for the beach.
And of course, this was pretty awesome, seeing a little area of quarantine for the little turtle eggs.
I hope they make it to sea. Sand in a foreign country!
We are total tourists.
Yep.
I can't even remember when was the last time we were on the beach. South Padre Island, maybe?
South Padre Island had to have been several years ago.
Yeah.
I think for me, I was in college still, or
Wow.
right out of college. That puts it like 10 years ago almost. Wow.
We were lucky enough to find a little spot.
And now we're on the second part of our Caribbean trip. We made it to the island of Bimini in the Bahamas, which is actually pretty close to Florida. Now we get to enjoy some beach time with some beautiful water and some gorgeous sand. We'll take you in a little bit.
They had so many chairs out for everybody. Everybody had a spot for themselves.
Whee! Foreign water!
And man, that water was super clear.
It was nice to jump around and float in. Look how clear it is though. After a while at the beach, we made our way back to the ship.
Again, not wanting to risk being left behind, we made our way back with plenty of time. We did stop, however, in the little area that had a couple of shops. Buy some souvenirs. Check out all these boats.
The marina had a lot of boats in there, more than I thought, honestly. This little area had a lot of shops, but not all of them were open. There was only really a handful of them available.
After the beach, though, it was pretty relaxing being back on the trolley.
Also, being outside in the beach is pretty draining for me. But we gotta get one more group picture and selfie.
We got to try experimental kitchen. I think for us, that was a little bit out of our element, but it was definitely a good experience to try some of these foods.
So in this test kitchen, they try recipes using curious new methods and techniques and strategies.
Here were the main ingredients for each of the meals.
Like this one, it's a puree of mushroom in the shape of a mushroom. It was quite good, but if you don't like mushroom, it would be too much.
And there was smoked egg and peas.
The presentation was awesome. But in the end, I felt like they were just peas. This is a seafood-based dish, and it tasted seafoody.
I believe scallops. And then they had filet mignon, if I'm not mistaken.
A type of steak with some chocolate and blueberry. It was quite good.
And the potatoes themselves were prepared in a certain way.
Ooh, ah. Thank you. This was curious, a blue cheese ice cream. And this chocolate little cake tasted kind of like a Mexican dessert called gansito.
On disembarkment, we got to see a lot of the behind the scenes, how they load a bunch of the foods and how they prepare all the luggage.
So we just got off the ship, and kind of a funny story. So because we're twins, the Border Patrol CBP had the face recognition, but it didn't recognize us. So we got randomly selected to do a little bit of further investigation on who was who. Had to scan the passport, check our luggage, but
it was a nice conversation with the CBP officers. They were very nice.
They were very nice, and they were also interested in our channel. They looked it up real quick to see what we were about.
Thanks for subscribing.
And now that we're off the boat, we're gonna have to wait a couple hours before the flight back to Texas. So we're gonna go find something to do.
Let's see what Florida has to offer. All right, so we found something to do.
We came out here to play some golf at the Costa del Sol golf course, which is actually pretty close to the airport. So once our game is over, we'll be able to head straight over there and just wait the rest of the time. But so far, the humidity is getting us.
That's gonna be our biggest thing, and also we forgot, the gloves and our stuff, so we had to pretty much get everything from here. We'll do our best, but we'll see how we do. It's really just to kill time until our flight, so.
But it's also a new golf course, so it's gonna be a fun experience regardless. And we can't blame ourselves for, doing bad because we don't have gloves, we don't have all our normal equipment. The clubs felt weird here on the range just a bit ago. So, it's gonna be fun, but something to do.
But at least now we can say we played in golf in Florida.
Yeah.
It was definitely an experience, but there was once or twice where I felt I almost lost the club from my hands. Definitely the worst part was the humidity though. Yeah. Nature here was way different than what I'm used to. The vegetation too, so pretty. Such a variety. Different colors, and of course there was squirrels. It's always fun to find squirrels in the wild or in other cities. Some of these holes were pretty challenging because they used a lot of water. It must be abundant here. The birds here are so different than what we're used to. Even the trees. And of course, iguanas. We've heard of iguanas being around. We just haven't seen them like this before. Didn't realize they were so huge. They were massive. We were so drenched by the end of it. But it was fun. And after that, we made our way to the airport. We had killed just the right amount of time to get to the airport with enough time to have some dinner before our flight. And of course, nature gets in sometimes.
And just like that, our trip is done.
We're heading back now, back home to our jobs, our lives.
Back to reality. Oh, the ghost graphics. Anyways, it was a fun trip. Opened our eyes to cruises, especially this line. It's very nice. It was an adult-only cruise, so not having kids around was a nice little treat.
Didn't have to worry about where we were stepping or if someone was going to run into us or anything like that. It was very nice. Overall, I enjoyed my experience on the cruise, and our friends group, we were talking about it, and we may decide to do another one in the future.
If we do, we'll bring you on that adventure. But for now, thanks for joining us on this adventure. Because remember,
there's always more to do.